I spent 3 months at a facility teaching you how to be a professional wrestler.
No kidding.
Yes, absolutely. Testing, mic check, 1, 2, 3. Live long and prosper, everybody. How y'all doing out there?
One more time.
How's everybody doing out there? Greetings from Hyannis.
Yes.
I don't know. Where was I on June 31st? I don't know. There's a bright light in my face. I don't know.
How's that? I'm sorry about the light.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Is it getting used to it now?
I'm fine.
All right, cool. Andy.
Hello.
Hey, Andy. So, where'd you grow up?
I was born and raised here on the spit of land we call Cape Cod.
Really?
Yes.
Cape Cod Hospital.
Falmouth Hospital, actually.
Falmouth Hospital.
Yes.
Wow.
Spent most of my early years in Dennis,
Mm-hmm.
and after that the family moved to Hardship when I was a teenager, so homeschooled pre-K through 16. At 16 went to 4Cs, finished my time there, transferred out, and now I find myself doing nothing whatsoever connected with my field, but I'm like, hey, it's a good gig, and I have a chance to spend time with my darling wife and not be overly stressed and overly exhausted, so it works.
Yeah. And what was your field that you studied?
I studied broadcasting under communications, so
Okay.
I've spent time
So
TV,
that's why you know what you're doing with that lavalier mic.
TV, radio, podcasts, that's what I went to school for. That's what I like doing. It's just, as we said, there's nothing in the field right now for me. Could I hope to support my darling bride on the salary of somebody pushing a camera around? Probably not.
No, it's tough.
It is really tough, but I can't say I hated it. It's just, when you go to school, the last thing that's on your mind is, I'm going to work at a dental office. Yeah! No, that was not even on my radar.
Right.
None of this was.
Right.
But
So just back up a little bit. Where did you go to school? Where did you spend your school days? Was it Dennis or?
most of it was in Dennis, actually.
Dennis.
Because by the time we were in Harwich, I was already a teenager. And at that point, again, 15, 16, I was already starting 4Cs. So homeschooled. So we also ran a family hotel in Dennis. It's now long since sold. And all of that just to say, I spent a lot of my days having way too much time on my hands. Having way too many chances to goof off and do nothing, and then way too many days where it's way too busy.
So when you say homeschooled, you went through high school at home?
Mm-hmm.
And did everything, yeah.
My parents, before they were pastors, they were both state certified teachers. So
Wow.
they have degrees in special needs education. Mom also has a degree in music. Mom has a degree, I think, also in secondary education.
Right.
So it's not like they were just some slouches who decided, hey, let's see if we can do it. They said, you know what? We don't feel comfortable with what's going on right now. We don't feel safe with our kids in the school system that it's in the state right now, so we can do it at home. So it was me and my 3 siblings. We all went through homeschool and then college after that.
So how many siblings do you have?
Older sister,
Yeah.
Becky, she's
Yeah.
6.5 years up on me. Older brother is Jim, he'll be 37 come August. And then the kid brother is Ed, he's 7 years my junior, so he's 27 right now.
So altogether you're 4.
There's 4 of us.
Close family?
We were close for a very long time. Me and my older sister were still very, very close to our parents. They're here in Harwichport. It's just different because my sister's in New Hampshire with her husband. My older brother is in New Bedford with his wife, and my kid brother is in Missouri. So I'm the only one of us 4 kids that's still here at home.
Both your parents still on the Cape?
Oh, they're still doing great. Mom and Dad are both pastors down at Mid-Cape Worship Center in Dennisport.
Okay.
I love what they do, but I'm not here for the family business, and I'm fine admitting that.
Yeah.
So they're still here, they're still doing great, and a little bit of a sidebar, before you ask, most influential person in my life has been my old man, and it's because I saw him go through cancer 6 times. He's still doing great, he's been cancer-free for years now. But when you watch a loved one go through that, it will do some serious things to your head. It will really hurt.
Yeah.
Dad, he kept a good spirit the whole time. He was upbeat about it, he was making jokes, he was making sure we were okay when he was at his worst.
Right. And how old is he now?
He is many years old, and that number has been redacted to protect those still in the field.
Okay.
He is old enough to have an AARP credit card, if that answers the
Okay.
question. He would prefer I not give a specific number out.
Did how old are you?
I'm 34, sir.
34.
34.
Okay, and so after all this, after your schooling and raising, and did you have a good childhood over in Dennis and Harwich?
Okay, and again, you've heard the term, it's up and down.
Yeah.
The answer is, I also grew up in a home where there was physical and verbal abuse.
No.
Nothing excuses that, nothing justifies that, nothing makes that okay. But having said that, even with that, Great parents who were always there for us. They've always been together. They've always been there for us. Had a good set of core friends, even though I was homeschooled, most of them from church. So despite the ugliness that happened, and shouldn't have, there was still a lot to be happy about and a lot to be thankful for. Also, something to point out, and this may get lost on a few people watching, I had a 3 or 4 year stretch when I was much younger where I know what it is to go a day without eating food. I know what it is to not have anything that's my own.
Were you homeless?
No, we lived in a trailer park for several years off Cape. And during that time, Dad was struggling to make ends meet. We didn't have a lot. Yeah. So you figure 4 kids and these 2 people stuck in this tiny little space. There were just some days there wasn't enough to spread it around. So
you were over the bridge, like Wareham?
Wareham.
Yeah. And how'd you get back over here? What happened after that?
My mom got sick one year.
Mm-hmm.
Really bad sick. I can't go into all the details,
right.
But it was enough that my old man had to swallow his pride and ask his parents, can we move in with you? And that's when we moved back into Dennis. And we stayed there again until the family moved to Harwichport when I was a teenager. So all of that to say, it's been a crazy 34 years so far. I find myself here in Hyannis now for almost 8 years.
Yeah.
But as much as I was born and raised here, as I told you,
mm-hmm.
I've been to 26 states. I went to school in Florida. I actually, little bit of a sidebar here as well, I spent 3 months at a facility teaching you how to be a professional wrestler.
No kidding.
Yes, absolutely.
Where was this?
This is in North Andover, Massachusetts. It's known as the, it's changed names so many times. Hold on a minute. The New England Pro Wrestling Academy, formerly run by the late Killer Kowalski. If you're a fan of old school wrestling, this is the school he made and fashioned. If you're familiar with some of the modern names, I'll give you a few of the luminaries. Big John Studd, Triple H, Kofi Kingston. This is where they first learned how to bounce off the ropes, and I had the privilege of going there for 3 months. That was an adventure. That was fun, but I'll tell you, I've never been so sore on the right side in my entire life.
So did you wrestle yourself? Or just...
I did not have an official match, no. I was learning and I was getting good, but a lot just happened all at once and I had to come back home. I don't begrudge that decision. I can check it off the bucket list and say, Yoda was wrong. There is a try. I did try. It didn't work, but I'm okay with that.
So if like Killer Kowalski, he actually came down to Hyannis when I was younger. He's been all over the state. If you were going to continue in that, what would your tag be? What would your name be? Did you have one?
I had several, and I was initially going to go with something like Mobius, which is the infinity loop that's bent around.
Oh yeah.
That was going to be my shtick.
Yeah.
That didn't take off, obviously, but it was, again, nothing short of a great privilege to be able to do this and learn how they do it. And I'll just put this little disclaimer out there. If anyone's going to tell me wrestling is fake, you get in the ring for a day and then tell me that when you're done.
I've heard that. It's it's definitely full contact.
Let's put it this way. If I can take another sidebar of your time, sir.
No, absolutely.
You talk about the ring ropes, and everyone hears about bouncing off the ropes.
Yeah.
Those are not ropes, sir. That is a piece of 3-inch steel cable that is braided with 2 more. So that's one of the ropes. There's like 1/8 of an inch of vinyl wrap and duct tape around it. It's tensioned at over 2,500 pounds. So you hit that thing, it hits back. If you do not hit that thing with the intent to slice it in half, it will punch into your skin.
Wow.
And so my first day getting in the ring, I was literally black and blue and every other color from my armpit on the side going straight down to my knee. The first time I learned how to fall, and they teach you how to do this because there's a way to do it correctly, my head bounced on the ring. That ring is not a soft surface. And so it is, how do I say this? Imagine you're at a rock concert in your youth, sir. Imagine that you're standing right next to the speaker. Mm-hmm. Now imagine the headache you're going to have when you come home from that rock concert having stood there. Sure. But imagine that it gets louder every 5 minutes and continues to thump and really pulse in your head. That's the type of headache that I had that day.
Oh my goodness.
So, again.
Did they keep you out of the, is that when you decide to leave? Or
No. That was my first day.
Just got back in the ring.
I rolled out, took a minute, got a drink of water, collected myself, and got back in and tried it again.
Badass.
You do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
But you know what? I liked the experience. Did it pan out? No. Am I upset by that? No. You might ask me later on, did you regret not breaking into WWE or doing anything crazy like that? No. And here's why. I got to come home again. And for everyone who's going to say, what's up with this place? Why do you stay here? If you're from around here, you get it. This is home.
Yeah.
This is a part of us. This is a part of who we are. It calls to you.
Right.
Also, if I had done all of that, I would not have met my wife. I would not have had a chance to run into her. So it took a very different arc than what I was expecting. I'm not upset by it, though.
And how did you meet your wife?
Online dating. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a horrible can of worms you open yourself up to when you post a profile picture online because, A, you can either be rejected, laughed at, or completely ignored. Possibly some combination of all the three. The story here is that I was working at a local home improvement and lumberyard company. You may know it as Mid-Cape Home Centers.
Okay, yeah.
I was in their hardware section, and they had a life-size cutout of a gorilla for Gorilla Glue.
Okay, yeah.
I took my profile picture posing next to that thing, and that's what my wife saw. So we met online, we were talking for a few weeks, and then I worked up the courage to ask her out.
So it was the Gorilla Glue photo that love at first sight?
Well, it wasn't so much love at first sight, but she looked at it and said, okay, it's not a guy with his shirt off, it's not a guy who's drunk, he's not flashing the peace sign.
Yeah.
And when you factor in also, when I was talking to her originally, I was very formal and very polite because it's my first impression. You don't get a second pass at that.
Right. So
all of that, it wasn't really love at first sight, it was more just a great coming together, and then as things developed, it's like, wow, I'm genuinely in love with this girl, I'm nuts about her, and then despite meeting her mother, and I can't even air out what that sounded like on this interview, you and I will have to talk later. So.
Okay. Stressful?
You've heard about getting the third degree before.
Oh, okay.
Okay, imagine getting the third degree from the mother of the person you're dating, one of their best friends, and person you're dating's stepbrother, all at the same time, and I guarantee you after not even 2 or 3 rounds of questions, it got incredibly not safe for work, let's put it that way. So, having survived all of that, and oddly enough, that was the night that my wife and I, we really just started to fall in love, and I went to a place where I said, she went from gorgeous woman I'm now dating to I need to marry this woman.
Of course.
So, it is such a bizarre life here on the Cape. It is so strange. I can't count the number of jobs that I've had, but if I were to go backwards in time, let's see, right now, I work as a dental receptionist.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, I had a job doing drug and alcohol tests for our local courts. Wow. Not fun.
Yeah.
I cleaned in our mall here in Hyannis for 3 years.
The Cape Cod Mall?
If you saw somebody pushing around the trash cart at light speed or going at blinding speed with a mop and bucket, that was probably me. Before all of that, again, worked at Mid-Cape. I was there for a couple of years. Where else have I been? Let's see, Best Buy, Sears, PacSun, Burger King, Barnes & Noble, Job Lot, CVS. Right? Do you want me to keep going?
No.
I've had a lot.
Done it all. Yeah.
I've had a lot of stopovers.
So what's a lot of people say it's tough to live here on the Cape. Do you agree with that, or?
It absolutely can be, and there are 2 reasons for that. One, it's so hard to find a full-time job year-round. It's so hard to find something that won't tell you in 6 to 8 weeks, thanks for coming by. Right. It's so hard to find that.
Right.
The second reason is that there's just so little to actually get a good job in where you feel like I could come back and do this and punch a clock and continue to do this. Because if you're not working in retail,
mm-hmm.
if you're not working in food service or hospitality, you have to work in a tourist trap. And none of us really want to be in that environment. I understand that. I get that. Right. Can it be hard here? Yes. Do I understand why some people have fallen on hard times? Oh, absolutely. Do I begrudge them that? No. I will say this. Some of the most amazing, compassionate, down-to-earth people I have ever met are the people that don't even have a place to stay and they sleep on a bench here in Hyannis.
Right.
These are the people that will gladly give you what little bottled water they have, that will gladly give you the coat off your back if you needed it. And having said that, I've also met quite a few people with full-time jobs who, if I passed them on the street, I wouldn't even give them change. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
What makes Hyannis so special, what makes it so interesting are the people who are here. I mean, sure, we have the mall, sure, we have Main Street, sure, we have the airport. Yeah, fine, okay. It's the characters we meet here. It's the people you run into. And how unexpected that is. Stereotypes really don't work around here. You can't play to that game. And I'll use this story to kind of illuminate this. Again, I used to work as a drug tester for our local courts. You meet some very ornery, very unsavory characters.
Right, they're not happy to see you.
You'd be surprised, however.
A
lot of the people that I met there, a lot of the clients that I had the privilege to test there, and I'll use that wording, they were starting to get their life together. Despite going through what they were going through, they made no apology for it. But they were very open, easy to talk to. They were very good people to get to know, such that when I left that job, I had told some of those clients when I would see them later, if you need a reference for a job, I will gladly hand you one. So we have people like that here. We also have people here that are from all over the world. Even before COVID, goodness, what was it? 75 countries send people here every year, either for tourism or to work. And you meet some amazing people here. You meet some people you couldn't hope to remember next week who they are. And you meet some absolutely horrible people here. Overall, a very well-balanced encounter.
Mm-hmm.
But the people here are what make it work. The people here are what drive this place.
Plan on staying here?
This is my life, sir. This is home. My wife and I have found this wonderful place to now set up shop.
Yeah.
My home is here.
So no thoughts of going anyplace else? You're in it for the long haul.
If home is where your heart is, then my heart is etched all over this county. This is where I call home. This strange place.
Yeah.
Did we just lose battery power, sir?
Yeah, we did, but we're fine. We'll just roll with it.
Okay.
We'll just roll. You look good. You look good.
That's what my wife keeps telling me. What it is here, in the strange place where we have county cops, but no town cops, but we have our own town fire rescue station. In the strange place where before our airport couldn't even get you past Boston, and now we're sending flights halfway across the world. Mm-hmm. In this very bizarre environment known as Hyannis, where some shops are only here for 3 months and some somehow manage to survive all year, it's average everyday people and not so average people who just make it worth the stay. They make it interesting. They make it worth being here.
I agree.
Would I want to shake hands with everybody here? Oh goodness, no. Most of them? Yes, actually, I would. If you haven't been here and you haven't experienced it, the people here will make it move. And if, for whatever reason, that bothers you, I'm sorry, the bridge is that way.
What's your favorite memory ever here on the Cape?
You've heard my wife mention our first date, and that certainly rings a bell. That is right there, but I'm going to go with when I proposed to her, actually.
Okay.
Spirit Halloween was temporarily in the mall. She was working there. It was her literal last day there because they were shutting down.
Right.
I was pacing around like Rayman for 2 hours, trying to work up the courage to finally do this.
Yeah.
And I finally walked in to her work as they're shutting down, and I went through this odd preamble. If you see the video online, please don't congratulate me for doing this, stop, drop, and roll, here it is, because it didn't happen that way.
Right.
I literally looked at her and I said, I know we've talked about making our life together, about growing old together, being that wonderful couple that holds hands, while we're running over stupid people in the mall with our power scooters. This is what I told her, and I built up this huge preamble to it to eventually get down to one knee and ask the question. And I was so shocked, first of all, that she said yes. I'm just going to be honest. We were in a very rough patch in our relationship at that point. I half expected her to laugh at me or to say no. And I was also very, very surprised at how other people who were working with her in this same place were actually recording it when it was going on. So if I wasn't prepared to be on camera before I met you, I had some practice before that.
There's a video out there someplace.
It's on her Facebook page.
Okay.
It's on her Facebook page.
I'll have to check that out.
You're going to have to scroll back a bit. So my proposal to her, absolutely, that takes it as my favorite memory, because I went from being absolutely nervous, sweating bullets, and not knowing what was going to happen, to when she said yes, and it was all done and dusted, and the ring is on her finger, I literally felt like I was Godzilla. I felt like I was 100 feet tall.
Yeah.
So favorite memory in Hyannis, hands down, is when my wife said yes to the question.
Excellent. Fair enough. You felt like Godzilla. That could have been your ring name.
That could have been.
Yeah.
Again, I had a handful of others. That one, that might cause some issues, copyright problems, whatever. But that's hands down my favorite Hyannis memory.
What's the future for Andy?
Right now, the future for me is learning how to be a better husband every single day. Holding down a good job that keeps me close to home. And enjoying what I have. We're both video gamers, me and my wife. We both have a bajillion tchotchkes and action figures around here, some of which you've seen.
Yeah.
Most of which you have not, I assure you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, way more than this. My life may not seem like it's some grand adventure, but you know what? I'll say it this way. Adventure isn't out there. The adventure is here. Living the life that I have and enjoying the life that we've carved out together. Here in this bizarre little spit of land we call Hyannis, Massachusetts.
Exactly. I love the way you put that. In closing, any advice for the youngsters out there, the people just starting their lives here, because it can be tough, finding a place to live?
Okay. 2 things I'm going to say up front. And first of all, to all of the nerds and the gamers and all of you out there, live long and prosper. You are not without hope. It can happen. It can work. If I found my wife and I'm one of the biggest running nerds in this area, there's hope for you too. So you have to be willing to work for it and then be delighted when something graciously drops in your lap you could not have been prepared for. So there's 1. Here's 2. When it comes to finding jobs, when it comes to finding any type of stability, please don't just settle for the first thing that pops up on Indeed and hope it works. Do your homework, do your research, put the time in, and be willing, should something happen, should the job fall apart, to wait for the right one and land in a better spot than where you fell.
Come back and talk to us sometime?
I don't see why not, sir.
Yeah.
We'll probably see you driving up and down Main Street. We'll
Yeah,
wave,
absolutely.
we'll flag you down.
Very good. Hey, thanks a lot.
You're quite welcome, sir.
Thanks
Any
a
other
lot.
questions before we shut it down?
Let me see. Let me
Please
look.
hold. Your call is very important to us.
I've got a long list here of questions. All right, I got one here for you.
Try me.
So you say you went from first wrestling a little bit there, doing that, and then you actually had some time like working with media,
Actually, I was doing mass media work before I got into the ring.
Right.
So at an age when most of us are worried about braces, zits, and does the opposite sex really have cooties,
Yeah.
I was already setting up cameras. I was already getting lights ready. I was already placing microphones. So I volunteered in public access at 13.
Right.
I did that for 6 years. And at the time that I was also doing that, later I was at WKKO here at 4Cs. I was there for 3 years.
Okay. Yeah.
So I've had that experience, and it's very interesting always being on this side of the camera. It's always a little different here.
Right. You're doing great, by the way. Just doing great. So in your current job, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it just seems so different. Now you're working at a dentist's office,
Mm-hmm.
right? From everything that you've done, how did you end up there?
Indeed,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
The last job I was at offered me full time.
Yeah.
Month of December, they scheduled me for 18 hours a week,
Right.
and I wasn't going to stay for that. So I was looking, and I was waiting, and I was polishing up my resume, I was doing follow-ups. I got the message that someone on Indeed wanted to talk to me. We start conversing.
Right.
A day later, I'm brought in for the interview. The next day, I message her back, and I thank her politely for a productive interview. She messages me back to say, if you wanted the job's yours, can you start Wednesday?
Wow. And did you have any experience working in a dental office?
None.
Before? None.
I've been in the chair for a root canal when I was a teenager. That is
Right.
the depth of my dental experience. So they brought me in having no clue, and I had no clue,
Right.
but it works.
It works.
Because what little I know about teeth and about your mouth is not important. I know how to work the phones. I know how to talk to our customers. I know how to type. I know how to scan in paperwork. I know how to send emails. I play tech support in an environment where everything I'm doing is around technology and around our customers. So
It certainly is now. Definitely. Yeah.
it's using those wonderful skills I've learned and translating that to an environment where, trust me, when I graduated college, this was not on my checklist. This
Right.
was not anything, all right, life goals, let's go down the list. Get married, have a good life, work at a dental office. No, that didn't come up.
But you love it.
I love what I do.
Yeah.
I love what I get to do, and I like the fact that, I'm going to say this out loud, my life is not my job. My job is a good job. I'm surrounded by awesome people who like me and love my work. I like my customers. But at the end of the day, I'm not a dental receptionist. That's just what I do for a living.
Okay.
I am a Cape Cod native, born and raised. I am a pastor's kid and proud of it. And I'm a happily married man trying to figure out how to do this whole be a better husband thing.
Right. Are you religious? Obviously, that's a tough question because your parents are pastors.
I chose this for myself, actually. So I'm a spiritual man. I'm a God-fearing man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm grateful to have had their guidance through a lot of this, but I didn't pick up on it just because it's what they do. I chose this.
You chose it, yeah.
Faith has gotten me through a lot. Faith got me through my dad having cancer. Faith got me through the many, many, many times I've been cut or fired from a job. Faith got me through the many times that I got shot down in the dating world, shot down online looking to hook up, shot down online looking for someone just to spend the rest of my life with. Faith got me through all of that, and it's faith that holds me to say, he's got good things in store for us. It won't always be easy, but I share the road with wonderful company.
Brilliant. Andy, thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir.
Let's do this again sometime soon.
Absolutely. Check in with us in a couple months.
Okay, absolutely. Thank you. You nailed that. Did such a good job on that. You really did.